Hey guys, welcome. Okay, so let's see how far I can go. Well, actually I can't go very far, so let's just get on with it, okay? Oh, we're going at the adventure skill? Oh.
Let's talk about Dunyarzad first. It's such a relief that she's all right. After we parted on the last day of the Sumeru's festival, I left the city and saw what the traveler had described. Among the countless dreams, I found one that was growing fainter and fainter. This proved my suspicion. Once Dunyarzad could no longer bear the Akasha harvesting her dreams, her consciousness began to dissipate. But this also meant it escaped the Akasha's control.
By the way, did we remove the Akasha already?
Such a small fragment of consciousness can't last for very long, though. It will return to its original dream, where both will gradually fade until they completely disappear. I used all the power I had to
Oh,
keep
they
her
did
dying
already
dream
remove.
alive as long as possible. But it still wouldn't have lasted for much longer if it hadn't been for you two breaking the samsara.
They did remove the already.
So it looks like we did manage to save Dunyarzad in the end. And not a moment too soon.
This is truly a miracle.
Huh? Why are you two smiling so happily? I thought you'd be so moved that you'd start crying. Hmm. I need to spend more time observing human emotions.
She hasn't been out for so long. But I thought that she always goes out using the animal.
Both are fine. Everyone reacts differently. All right. You two must have a lot of other questions for me, right? After all, you saved my faithful believer. As your reward, I will answer any and all questions.
About what I saw in that dream at the Avita forest. Oh yeah, the one with what you call it?
At the Avidia forest, there was this incense that made the traveler fall unconscious and dream of a huge tree and a red sky.
Oh, that's right, the Irman soul.
You also heard someone's voice, right? It said world and forget me.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, so you do know. We've been wanting to ask you what that was about, and if the red sky was related to Conria. It seems like the traveler established a connection to Irminsul. That was a message left by Greater Lord Rukadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul. Perhaps her last memory before she died. As you two probably know, Greater Lord Rukadevata disappeared after the disaster in Conria. The timings of these events do line up, so your suspicions are reasonable. A message from Greater Lord Rukadevata? We thought it was from King Deshret.
Ah, that's right, because of that knowledge capsule. They thought that it contains King Deshret's secret
King
or something.
Deshret? That god who died even longer ago? Some present-day desert dwellers still worship him. You probably just heard some of their conspiracies. Okay, so what does the message mean?
Yes, that's also something wondering.
I still haven't managed to decipher it. Even the Akasha isn't currently capable of doing that. Greater Lord Rukadevata's residual consciousness in Irminsul seems to be contaminated with something that has a very dangerous aura to it.
Is that the forbidden knowledge?
Many devoted scholars go mad as soon as they connect their consciousness. I've warned the academia about this many times, but people still keep falling victim to it. But I believe this is the key to saving Irminsul. That's why I've kept trying to decipher it.
Wait, if it's so dangerous to connect to Irminsul because of the forbidden knowledge, then shouldn't there already be news about some people? Well, actually, there were some news that people were going mad when they connect to Irminsul. There are some people who do.
So the tree in the vision was Irminsul? Oh, Tainari also said that Irminsul is sick! Is it because of the contaminated consciousness? But even if you can't figure out what that vision was all about, it seems like our search for you was all in vain. The Traveler wasn't affected after coming in contact with that consciousness. I've never seen anyone like that. With you here, we may have a chance at deciphering it.
That's probably because the Traveler negates all kinds of curses or something. Yeah, I think it does that. I think the forbidden knowledge is some kind of curse placed on people. So it doesn't work on him.
No, we must decipher its secrets. I've already eliminated all other factors that might affect Irminsul. This is the only one left. This puzzle has life and death at stake. It could determine Irminsul's fate, as well as Tevat's.
Why do you look like Catherine?
To be accurate, I'm using the Akasha as a medium to occupy Catherine's consciousness.
Is it because she's a puppet?
How did you do that? Poor Catherine. Does this mean you can also occupy other people's consciousnesses?
No, probably not. Probably only puppets.
Theoretically, I can enter anyone's mind as long as they're wearing their Akasha terminal.
It's a good thing that we removed them.
The Akasha is the legacy of Greater Lord Rukadevata. As Lesser Lord Kusanali and the first Akasha terminal, my consciousness has always been linked to the Akasha.
And yet, the academia is tampering with the Akasha.
I've always respected my people's free will, so I've never actually occupied their consciousness. When necessary, I just borrow this bionic Snezhnayan puppet.
Oh, so she really is a Snezhnayan puppet. Well, that was already... We already figured that one, so... So she doesn't belong to the Abyss Order. Instead, Catherine is connected to the Fatui. Snezhnayan in particular.
Hold on. Did we just learn some deep, dark secret? So Catherine is... No wonder Paimon felt something was off about her.
Paimon, Catherine has always been off ever since the Mondstadt. You never even figured that out?
What about your own body? Why do you need to borrow other people's? Don't you live in the sanctuary of Surasthana? That story begins a long time ago. After Greater Lord Rukadevata disappeared, the sages found my newly born self and took me back to Sumeru. At that time, I was young and weak. The sages kept me in the sanctuary of Surasthana, ostensibly for the sake of protecting me. But I've hardly heard from them since. However, I do understand that they had hoped to find Greater Lord Rukadevata instead of me, a symbol of her passing.
I wonder what would have happened, how Liyue would treat the new Gale Lord once whoever it is descended. I mean, Zhongli just gave up being the Gale Lord, and he did said that a new Gale Lord would soon come.
So, the sages basically put their new Archon under house arrest? How dare they! Why don't you teach them a Listen, Nahida! In some ways, they aren't wrong. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was omniscient and omnipotent. Even after her death, the Akasha is still empowering this nation. And I'm still really far away from being able to call myself the God of Wisdom. Moreover, the Academia is also more proficient at governing this country. My existence has little meaning.
I could hardly say that they're more proficient. After all, they're using all the citizens in here with this dream harvesting. They're endangering the people, so I pretty much doubt they're a good government. To me, you're already an excellent Archon.
Yeah, you got a lot of believers. Just look at the Sub-Zero's festival. Everyone who showed up truly loves you. Thank you for the kind words. But I honestly don't need physical freedom as long as I can connect my consciousness to the Akasha.
Well, if I remember correctly, the one at Gandarville doesn't have these Akasha terminals. So.
Trying to find a way to save Irminsul is my life's mission and top priority. I will work on that and try to live up to being a deity in the meantime. Every once in a while, I will also take up the duties of the God of Wisdom and enlighten a lost soul here and there. Doing all that should be enough.
About the sage's plan.
There's never been any big problems with the Academia's governance of Sumeru. This is the first time I've seen them step out of line. I wonder what caused them to go down this path and what they hope to achieve. Even though the city's residents haven't noticed anything strange, if the Traveler hadn't broken the Sub-Zero samsara, the situation could have become dire. I tried to do some investigating in the Akasha, but I couldn't find anything suspicious. And all the people of interest seemed to purposely avoid wearing their Akasha terminals. I think they're deliberately trying to hide something. Oh, that reminds Paimon. In Gandharvaville, there was a sage who had invited Tainari to join some kind of project. Could it be related?
I wonder if Tignari is aware of what the sage were trying to do. Maybe that's the reason why he was rejecting the Academia's invitation.
Regardless, I need to first investigate the sage's motives, make things right, and punish them if needed. But I'll have to be discreet, or they'll see me coming.
No one has realized the issue with the Akasha.
You mean how the Akasha stops you from having dreams? Yeah, it's been such a long time. No one's noticed something's up? It's not that no one noticed. It's more like no one cared. Ultimately, it's all rooted in the sage's misdirection. Misdirection?
They were telling some misinformation like adults don't dream, only kids dream. Isn't it because kids don't wear the Akasha terminals yet?
The sages convinced everyone to believe that being unable to dream is a sign of rationality and wisdom. Not dreaming is a badge of honor in Sumeru. Even if the truth is that their dreams are being reaped by the Akasha. With their propaganda in place, the sages can maximize their use of the Akasha to facilitate their research. Besides, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata must have created the Akasha in the hopes that it could be used to its full potential. That's why I've never come out strongly against this. Anyway, the perspective advocated by the sages drowned out any voices of doubt. By now, even those who never use Akasha terminals find it too shameful and embarrassing to talk about their dreams.
I don't have any other
Got it.
questions.
I hope my answers were satisfactory, seekers of knowledge.
Well, you can't answer everything though.
To be honest, maintaining Dunyarzad's fading dream took a lot of mental energy. I think I may need to rest for a while. Oh, and you don't need to worry too much about the sage's activities for now. The Akasha won't be able to conduct another project on the scale of the Sub-Zero Samsara in the immediate future.
I hope that you keep a tight leash on the Akasha instead of the sages, Nahida.
Go and get some sleep. Leave everything to us. What a relief. This is truly the most exhausting birthday I've ever had.
Oh.
Traveler? Paimon? Why am I here? Do either of you know?
Well, we know your secret now.
Maybe you were sleepwalking. You know you can't wake up a sleepwalker.
Nice
We happened
timing.
to walk by, so we thought we'd wait for you to wake up.
Nice
I
timing.
see. Huh. I should visit my maintenance personnel sometime. Oh, I'm fine. I better go. Thank you.
We spent quite some time in Sumeru City, but ever since we last said goodbye to Lesser Lord Kusanali, we haven't heard anything from her. Oh, we can't just keep waiting around like this. Let's go find Catherine and pick up some work so we can at least keep ourselves busy.
So that was it. I should have finished it then. Ah, still not. It's been a long time since I've Sarah Samsara. Okay. I still can't find this teleportation waypoint.
Ad Astra Avisask. We meet again, you two.
Hi, Catherine. Do you have any commissions for us today?
Commissions, huh? Let me think. Oh, how about this? Please attend the Academia's Academic Symposium this afternoon and recite a love poem on stage.
Oh my god. No, please, no.
Wait, say what now?
And if possible, please also use your camera to capture the reaction of the audience upon finishing the poem.
Nahida, is that you?
Huh? What kind of commission is that?
The audience would definitely have a reaction. I feel embarrassed just
I
imagining.
see. It appears that you're not interested in this commission.
Who in the
In
world?
that case, please go to Port Armos and convince the Eremites there to spend some time volunteering at the local orphanage.
This has gotta be Nahida. It's gotta
Hey,
be.
that's not any better.
Isn't that just asking for a beating? For a beating? Mercenaries and operas just really don't go together.
I'm sure the mercenaries will have some interesting reactions as well.
Paimon's gotta ask. Just who exactly has been submitting these commissions to the Adventurers Guild?
Yeah, good question. Or if this is Nahida.
Oh, the commissioner? Well, actually, I just wanted to see the two of you in action.
You're Nahida, right?
Was it so obvious? I was hoping you would actually take one of those commissions. That kind of chance to observe humans doesn't come by often.
You're asking us to be beaten up.
So it's Nahida. Paimon just knew Catherine wouldn't crack those kinds of jokes. When did you get into her head? From when she said, Ad Astra Abisask? So it's been you this whole time? Are you done resting up, Nahida? Yes. I've been sleeping ever since we parted ways, and I even had a really, really long dream.
So the Akasha can't take away the dreams of gods?
It was another dream about the Sub-Zerus festival, except it was a happy one. In my dream, I was sitting in the middle of a flower terrace, and everyone in Sumeru City was holding hands as they danced in circles around me. They danced round and round, and everyone looked really happy. I also got to sit on a gigantic flower carriage. Ferris, the Knight of Flowers, raised me really, really high above the ground, and I was throwing an endless amount of Yalda candies at the children. You know, Nahida, Maybe your dream is how the Sumeru's festival really should be. It's meant to be a joyous time where everyone gets together to celebrate your birthday.
Yeah, but in reality,
Huh? Wasn't I describing a really happy dream? Why are you both looking at me like that? Wait, could this be an example of the emotion known as pity?
she does. She has the mentality of an infant who's just learning how to walk. I guess she's been in prison for a long. She hasn't been out for a long time since the sages imprisoned her.
No, we aren't pitying you. That would only make everything worse. We just don't want you to feel too sad. By the way, have you had a chance to visit Dunyarzad? How's she doing? The Homiyanis haven't allowed any visitors after the festival, so we haven't been able to check on her. Yes, I paid her a visit right after I woke up. She was resting at the time. Her condition is stabilized. However, since Elazar is a manifestation of the withering on the human body, we can only cure it by finding a way to take care of Irminsul's own withering. But for the moment, our top focus should still be figuring out what the sages are up to and what they're planning. Right. Who knows what'll happen if they manage to pull off another scheme like the Samsara of the Sub-Zero's festival. So our first priority should be investigating and putting a stop to the sages' activities. As for how we should pull that off, let's discuss it somewhere else. There are too many adventurers around here.
Wouldn't the adventurers be wondering where Catherine went off to?
Oh, good point. Sorry, adventurers. We're gonna be borrowing Catherine for a little while.
Ivan, what's with that sneaky? What's with that sneaky face? But it doesn't seem that we're going off too far.
Let's continue our chat here.
What's this? It's so shiny.
Okay, so do you have any ideas on how we can investigate the sages, Nahida? Actually, I've already done a little bit of work on that. But for now, I want to hear your thoughts.
Possess a key figure in the academia. Possess a student to infiltrate the sages' quarters. We could grab someone close to the sages and question them. But we don't know anyone like this. Possess a key figure in the academia? No, we can't possess a key figure because once Naida might end up getting caught.
No way, that's too risky.
Well, grabbing one is too
You
risky
mean
too.
it'd be too easy to get caught? No, it's not that. We shouldn't involve innocent students in this. A single mistake could completely ruin their lives.
There is that, but none. I don't think any of the options are feasible. We would get caught either way.
Doing that would be ignoring the safety of my people for my own selfish goals. How is that any different from what the sages are doing? That's a good point. Spoken like the god of Sumeru.
Could grab
I'm
someone.
in the dark as of now. Since we still don't know anything about their goals, any rash move could tip them off and lead to terrible consequences. After all, every person in Sumeru City is one of their hostages. I've already tried that, but all the key members of the Academia, even the core of 30 guards, intentionally avoid wearing their Akasha terminals. It seems that from the very beginning, they've been guarding against info leaks from the Akasha. Of course, it could also be because they're wary of me.
Well, I did say that those three options weren't feasible.
Have you already caught the sage's attention? I'm guessing not yet, but distrusting me would make perfect sense if they've ever paid attention to the urban legends about me.
Urban legends about you?
In any case, I probably can't take over their minds directly.
I can't think of anything else.
Are we really out of ideas?
We could go contact. I'll hate them.
Nahida, you're super smart, so you already have something in mind, right? Don't keep us in suspense. Spill the beans already. According to a popular theory from the Vahumana Darshan of the Academia, rejecting impractical motions at the beginning of a planning session will give more weight to the actual proposal. Okay, but aren't you the god of wisdom? You don't have to use that kind of gimmick to make us take your ideas seriously. Well, I've been thinking that if I can't directly possess the leaders, and if I can't get ordinary people involved, then I should find someone who's already involved, but hasn't decided to side with the sages.
Are you going to search every Akasha terminal?
You're saying we should recruit a spy? That does sound like it could work.
But who?
Before coming back, we met someone named Al-Haytham.
Oh.
He seems like he acts alone, and he likes doing stuff behind the Academia's back. They probably aren't in cahoots.
I don't know about this.
Actually, I already have someone in mind. Do you still remember that female scholar named Setaria?
Setaria?
Paimon remembers now. Isn't she
Oh,
the
that-
one who's always trailing behind the Grand Sage of the Academia?
The one at the one who was talking to Nilo at the stage.
We ran into her basically every time the Sub-Zero's festival repeated itself. You could even say we're old enemies by now. Paimon still remembers the smug and mean way she always spoke to Nilu. I've always liked observing all kinds of people, and Setaria has always stood out from the crowd. She was born in the desert and was hailed as their greatest genius. Her academic gifts allowed her special admission into the Academia, and also gave her the opportunity to serve as the sage's assistant.
But if she's the sage's assistant, doesn't that mean that they don't let her wear the Akasha terminal?
Oh, Paimon didn't know she was from the desert. She must be pretty special then. Paimon feels like most of the desert dwellers around the city are working as mercenaries. The name Setaria means star. When she lived in the desert, she shone like the brightest star in the night sky.
But when she came to Sumeru City, she no longer is
Later
like
on,
that.
she was chosen by the sun. The star was given a place in the daytime sky to complement the sun's dazzling light. Soon after, the star witnessed the sun scorching the earth, which brought forth many disasters. The star began to waver. Instead of staying beside such a sun, wouldn't it be better to return and light up part of the night sky? But in the end, she couldn't give up the radiance of daytime. To cope with her shame, the star buried her guilt and closed her eyes.
Those are Setaria's true thoughts, right?
From the sound of it, Setaria's just hung up on the research opportunities here. But she doesn't really support the Academia. She still feels guilty about not doing more for the desert, right? She's just running away from her problems. Indeed. When they are presented with complex moral issues, many people will simply plug their ears and go with the flow until the problem can't be fixed anymore.
It's like what they say, what was that saying? Something about clutching the knife?
She's suppressing a lot of guilt, but before she realized it, she had already become the sage's accomplice. She can't deny her part in their schemes anymore.
Sounds exactly like the person we need.
Right. We must somehow make her face her problems again. That way, not only can we get useful intel from her, but she can also use it as an opportunity to redeem herself. From my past observations, Setaria will take a day off from the Academia every 10 days to do some shopping in the city.
She even has the time to go shopping with all the guilt.
Tomorrow afternoon just happens to be a shopping day for her. That'll be our chance. To prepare, let's go check out some of her favorite spots, and to have a quick chat with a few of the vendors there.
In the light of altering these cycles, one can see the homeward figure of the lighthouse on the bridge. But what is this, a riddle or a proverb or something? Alternating day cycles? Homeward figure? Hello, traveler. Are you interested in Drusus' riddle too? Do you know who set it up? It was set up by an academia researcher named Drusus. As far as I know, he's an eccentric even among the academia crowd. He loves to talk about riddles with anyone as well as research all kinds of encryption methods. But some of his riddles are too incomprehensible, so not many people are willing to deal with him. So he came up with the solve riddles for a priceless idea. Simply put, this riddle actually hints at a treasure trove. You just have to show up at the right place at the right time using the right method and you'll get the treasure. That's the right... It gotta be at the right place, the right time. At the right method, I see. Drusus also gave a hint saying that the locations are all within Sumeru city. But as you can see, no adventurer has been able to succeed. You can certainly try if you're interested. But if you ask me, I'll tell you to do something else more productive. I see, but it's kind of interesting. Lighthouse on the bridge. Wait. The lighthouse on the bridge. If it's a lighthouse on the bridge, it's gotta be in Port Ormuz, right? Because since Port Ormuz has... Or is it that one? Is this a lighthouse? Doesn't seem so. Oh no. It's not letting me go up. Just the right time. But I think it ought to be at Port Ormuz. Since it's called a port, you know, a lot of ships will be there.
This should be Sataria's favorite fortune-telling spot.
Fortune-telling?
So should we ask the fortune teller about Sataria? No, I already have enough information on Sataria. The most important thing now is for you to pay attention to the vendor's talking style and key characteristics. Talking style and key characteristics?
What, are we going to pose as fortune tellers?
My poor lost lambs. Have you become troubled over your fates? The divine voice of wisdom often echoes between mine ears. If thou be blessed today by the gods, I may be able to show you the way.
Even... Just a minute. I mean, even Mona doesn't talk like that.
Huh? Really? Nahida, you've been whispering things to her?
No, she's one of those, bogus fortune teller, I think.
Shh. My friend here has some doubts regarding his future. Can we get a fortune reading for him?
Of course, of course. In that case... Uh-huh. It would seem that Harut and Marut are quite wary of you. Perhaps, at some time in the past, you have somehow offended the gods.
What? Actually, we help the gods solve their problem.
Only mocking the god of Animo, questioning the lord of Geo's financial savviness, and brawling with the god of Electro. Do those count?
Oh, nothing. Go on, pick an aspect for her to divine?
Divide my prospects in health.
Prospects. No problem at all.
She's definitely a bogus.
The gods have spoken. The truth shall be revealed. Your life shall continue on for many tens of thousands of years. Impossible.
So she's really divining?
Harut, Marut, did you two spoil my divination? I've never read a fortune so absurd.
So she really could fortune tell?
Actually, Paimon thinks this is probably the most accurate fortune telling you've ever done.
Yeah, considering the traveler is already 500 years old, or probably more than that.
I admit that the orientation of today's celestial matrix is suboptimal. As such, there will be no charge.
Is that so? Well, that can't be helped.
If you were to bring some food offerings for Harut and Marut on your next visit, perhaps they could help you reverse the wheels of fate.
Well, maybe I should have chosen love instead.
Everyone hold hands.
Oh, so she can't pick up artifact. I think aren't you two the one who's doing the fortune telling?
I've never seen Harut and Marut.
Is this another one of Sataria's favorite stalls? Yep. It belongs to a king. His father helped Sataria a lot when she first moved to Sumeru City, so she still comes by whenever she has time. When I start talking with him, listen carefully to the details of our conversation.
Ah, dear customers, would you like to look at some pottery?
We caught wind of your great craftsmanship, so we specifically came to take a look.
Oh, I recognize you. Aren't you Miss Catherine from the Adventurers Guild? Sounds like I'm in for some big business.
Speaking of, where did you learn this trade?
I suppose you could say it all started with my dad. He's a mason by trade, but I picked up an interest in clay while apprenticing for him. After that, I began making pottery by myself in secret, and I simply changed trades when my works turned out well. Although it's a pity that I'm no longer making much use of the knowledge provided to me by the Akasha.
No, actually, doing pottery is something that is very useful.
That's nice! You're making a living doing something you love!
Yeah.
So is your father still working as a mason?
I have no idea what a mason do.
Oh no, not anymore. A few years back, he fell from a roof and broke his leg.
Oh,
Since
no.
he had already saved enough Mora over all these years, he's just enjoying the retired life in Port Ormos nowadays.
So he's in Port
I
Ormos.
see. We wish him peace and happiness in his retirement. I'll have someone in charge of logistics at the guild come by another day for some goods. We'll leave you to it. Take care now.
No problem. Rest easy, all our goods are sure to meet your every need.
And sorry, but once Nahida leaves Catherine, she won't remember a single thing. I feel so bad.
This should be our final stop. Sataria's always thinking of this restaurant when she's working at the academia, so she always comes by whenever she's out in the city. Nahida, you've really thought of everything! It's my duty to protect Sumeru's citizens, after all.
Hi there. I feel like I've seen you down by the docks before. Huh? Sorry, I don't quite remember. If I recall, you were having a discussion with someone about shipbuilding at the time.
Ah, that's right! I've always been really interested in feats of marine engineering. After all, I grew up in Liyue Harbor and spent my entire childhood staring at the ships going in and out of the port. I came to Sumeru to study, but failed to make it into the academia due to my lack of talent.
That's the reason why she has a Liyue kind of name, Kishan.
But I'm still discussing all kinds of problems with different scholars, and I'm continuing to study and perform research from the restaurant's basement. I'm sure I'll get into the academia after their next round of exams.
I think you ought to go home to Liyue for now, Kishan. I mean, the sages aren't really the best kind of people around right now.
What an admirable spirit for learning. Amazing.
Sure, but you'll find hardworking people wherever you go.
Shh, Paimon.
So this restaurant has a basement as well? Huh. First I've heard of it.
That's right. It's not usually open to patrons. Most of the time, employees use it for breaks or to hold private events.
I see. Guess that makes sense. Well, good luck with your studies, Miss Chishan.
Thank you so much. As long as I can make it into the academia as an official student, I'll be happy.
Is she sure about that?
So, was that everybody? Mm-hmm. 3 familiar faces should be enough for Sataria. What's the point of all the information we've collected? Nahida, you still haven't told us how you're planning to make Sataria face her problems. Sataria is already used to avoiding her problems, so we must find a way to break through her usual sensibilities. I remember you mentioned that the Eremites in Port Ormuz are all making a fuss about the upcoming resurrection of King Deshret.
That's right.
Although it's all just a boatload of nonsense, the fate of her homeland may turn out to be Sataria's soft spot.
Oh.
Oh, Paimon gets it now! You want to take advantage of the guilt Sataria feels about her homeland. Although she knows she should return home to help the people of the desert, all she's done is conspire with the sages.
Yeah, which is against King Deshret or the desert people. If King Deshret were to criticize Stars actually, if King Deshret were to make demands of
So, how do we set that up? Well, King Deshret is long gone, and Sataria is also too smart to fall for any simple tricks. If we simply engaged her under the guise of King Deshret's believers, she would definitely be weary of us, and we may not get anywhere. But if we were to borrow some of her close acquaintances to talk with her, her reaction would probably be very different.
But she should already have heard about what the Eremites at Port Ormuz were doing, considering the fact that the scholars were also there looking for that knowledge that holds that the Eremites think has something to do with King Deshret.
So, you mean you're going to possess those people we just talked to?
Yeah, they do have the Akasha terminal.
Yep. Possess them through the Akasha. Imply they've already converted to the faith of King Deshret, and then convey our made-up will of King Deshret. As long as everything goes smoothly, we'll get through to Sataria for sure. She'll never guess that we had anything to do with it. Ah, so that's how you're going to use all the info we collected on these people. It's so that you won't slip up and break form. Possessing them will only work if you can manage to pass off as them.
Oh, I see.
Exactly. So, best best of luck with impersonating them.
Wait, what do you mean? Aren't you the one who's going to be possessing them?
Huh? Best of luck? But we don't know how to possess anyone.
Yeah.
That's no problem at all. I'll just share all their senses with you once I've possessed them. As long as you're also wearing an Akasha terminal, the effect will basically be as if you've possessed them yourself.
Why do we have to do this?
That is pretty convenient. But why does he have to do this? Can't you do it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you know it
Although I've been
best.
observing humans for a while, I've never been good at imitating them.
You're not wrong. It's always been painfully obvious whenever you try to pass as Catherine.
Alright, I'll try my best.
If it was at all possible, I would have preferred to leave these people alone. But seeing how things are now, I probably should just accept it and push on.
Yeah, you're like contradicting yourself earlier.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up over it. We're only doing this to help everyone, and we'll only be borrowing them for a little while anyway.
Alright, then let's give it a go tomorrow afternoon.
Wait until tomorrow afternoon. Okay, but although I didn't do much, but I still have. I need to. I need to go, so I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.